Welcome to Stock 1000 here at Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. It is the second race here at Road Atlanta, the second race of the 2025 championship season. Superbikes at Road Atlanta. It's a great way for the Stock 1000 championship to kick things off. It's a fabulous racetrack for these big bikes to be able to stretch their legs a little bit, Roger Hayden.
Especially this long back straightaway on these Stock 1000s is so fast. And that kink, but also there's another part of the track there right in the beginning that's a lot of work and not so much fun on these big bikes.
See the bike there of Bryce Kornbauer, the number 17. There was an incident yesterday, so it's great to see Bryce back out there. I'm sure we're going to get a look at that in just a moment. Lots of fans here on the track. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome into the broadcast booth. I'm Jamie Howe, of course, joined by Roger Hayden. And Roger, the first race yesterday, it was an emotional victory for Andrew Lee. He was the past champion in the Stock 1000 category, took several years off, came back this year questioning, can I do it? Can I still go out there? Can I be as quick? And he proved to everybody in the paddock that he certainly can.
Yeah, and even with the pole position as well, he proved it. And you could just see the emotion after the race, the journey he has been on to get back to the top of the box, and it was really cool to see. As we're going to see those highlights right here at race one with Jason Uribe there on the inside on the front row, able to lead him up into turn one with his teammate Andrew Lee. And then we had the two Hondas right behind him, but Bryce Kornbauer here in turn four, corner exit there, a big high side on the edge of the tire. Taylor Knapp, separate incident up into turn two. Jason Waters actually hit Bryce, lost his left foot peg, trying to get the crew to get a new foot peg, get back, because there was going to be another restart. And same thing for Jason Uribe. Really good start, but this time JD Beach moves into second. Early on, he routed down into turn five, able to get up and able to walk off. See Ashton Yates making the move on JD Beach down into turn five and has a big moment, but is able to save it. Now Ashton again on the brakes down into turn 10. Makes it stick this time as they go up over the hill. Jason Uribe and his teammate Andrew Lee slowly pulling away on this group, swapping best laps of the race, outright track records, just kept lowering it. Andrew Lee was able to close down toward the last lap, able to make the move in here last corner and get the run to the flag. His teammate coming up a little short, but Andrew Lee, big emotional win for him yesterday. Great to see him back atop of the box.
And it was just a blistering race pace. You mentioned the fact that track record continued to fall over the course of it at the end. It was Jason Uribe at 125.9 is the new track record, but of course the race win going to his teammate Andrew Lee.
And Ashton Yates, JD Beach on the Honda, good start for them. Dion Campbell there inside the top five, Isaiah Davis, Jason Waters, Christopher Durbin, and Rocco Landers, first year in the class there at ninth.
Yeah, made his Stock 1000 debut yesterday. Now having another race to see what he can do on the big bike. We're going to step away, take a quick break. We'll be back for Stock 1000 right after this.
From an early age, we race. It's part of who we are. It's in our DNA. For some, the need to keep pushing fuels our lives. At VP Racing, we pour everything we have into creating the industry's best products. For those who put it all on the line, whether it's the track or the trail or wherever you race, they say you can't win them all, but you can sure as hell try. VP Racing, win every race.
Introducing Spectro Performance Oil's heavy-duty product line. Engineered not just for performance, but for endurance. Spectro offers leading engine, transmission, and brake fluid products, which are proudly made in the USA since 1966. Performance, reliability, quality, and tradition. Because every ride should feel as smooth as the first. Spectro Performance Oils.
From an early age, we race. It's part of who we are. It's in our DNA. For some, the need to keep pushing fuels our lives. At VP Racing, we pour everything we have into creating the industry's best products for those who put it all on the line. Whether it's the track or the trail or wherever you race, they say you can't win them all, but you can sure as hell try. VP Racing. Win every race.
Over 1 million motorcyclists trust RevZilla for their online shopping experience. Because we have thousands of top brands, so you never have to look anywhere else. Gear tested by expert riders who can help you find the perfect product for every kind of ride. RevZilla is the best shopping experience for the motorcycle enthusiast. And new customers get 10% off their first purchase. Visit RevZilla.com.
Excellence isn't a goal, it's our standard. Because we only run in select circles. The winner's circle. Every battle, every drive, every sacrifice leads to domination. The pride, the legacy. Carved in iron, sealed in victory.
Welcome back to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for Stock 1000, race number 2 here for the Superbikes at Road Atlanta race weekend. 5 different categories here on the property. There's a great look at the paddock and all of the teams that are here representing MotoAmerica this weekend, with just a tremendous group of fans on hand as well. And racing yesterday, Roger Hayden, was extremely close. The Stock 1000 finish, our closest. It was a drag race to the line between the two teammates of Andrew Lee and Jason Uribe, just 9 thousandths of a second between the two of them. But if you take the 5 classes that are here, the average margin of victory was just 0.51 of a second, just over half of a second. Take away Superbike race, that race result was 1.8 second gap between first and second, and that brings the average down to just under 0.2. All of the categories are just extremely competitive, but here in Stock 1000, I'm expecting it to be just as close today.
Yeah, and I think for Jason, probably learned a little something yesterday, and he's going to try to come out and really get that win. The big thing is that can the guys behind him, you know, like a Ashton Yates or JD Beach, are they going to be able to find some time overnight? But it was a heck of a race yesterday, and you know, you mentioned all the classes going down to the wire. It was decided on the last lap, every race with Superbike.
Take a look at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Take us around, Roger, 2.5 miles.
Yeah, and it's so busy through that first part of the track. That chicane in 3 and 4 are just so tight on the Superbike. Through 4 down into turn 5, Stock 1000 wants to wheelie out of there. Then turn 6, turn 7, it's important for these riders to not rush the exit on the Stock 1000 and get a good run out of turn 8, wide open, all the way down into turn 9, into turn 10, where we've seen the race decided yesterday. Out of there, up over turn 11, turn 12, where they went too wide out of there for the win yesterday's race.
Even though it was tight, it was very respectful, giving each other enough room to be able to make that run onto the front straightaway. Take a look at the weather. You can see blue skies on hand. It is a beautiful day. The cold front coming in from the storm last night, 66 degrees, 88-degree track temperature. It's right in that sweet spot for all of the Dunlop tires, with 54% humidity, and that wind just staying pretty steady at 10 miles an hour. Here at the racetrack, Roger, 10 miles an hour, do the riders feel it?
No, they're not going to feel that too much if it's consistently toward the back, but no, 10 mile an hour won't notice. The these guys too much. It's really perfect temperature out there today. You know, Friday was kind of hot and humid, and the sun was really baking the track. Today we have the sun, but it's not nearly as warm as it was on Friday. So a lot of different conditions for these teams to have to deal with.
See all the easy ups that are out around Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Here's a look over the fan zone from our drone camera. Lots of activities for all of the families to enjoy. It's not just about watching the bikes on the racetrack. It is just a great way to spend a weekend getting outside and doing something fun, something different, and lots of opportunities there where you can hop on some of the demo bikes. There's, of course, carnival rides, lots of really great food, some great giveaways. We already had the Dunlop autograph session down on the hot pit lane earlier today. Each and every MotoAmerica race weekend, Roger, just so much for anybody that wants to come out to the racetrack. Stock 1000 will be up next. We're going to have a grid walk with Joe. We're going to step away, take a break. We'll get set. Join us.
From an early age, we race. It's part of who we are. It's in our DNA. For some, the need to keep pushing fuels our lives. At VP Racing, we pour everything we have into creating the industry's best products for those who put it all on the line. Whether it's the track or the trail or wherever you race, they say you can't win them all, but you can sure as hell try. VP Racing, win every race.
Over 1 million motorcyclists trust RevZilla for their online shopping experience. Because we have thousands of top brands, so you never have to look anywhere else. Gear tested by expert riders who can help you find the perfect product for every kind of ride. RevZilla is the best shopping experience for the motorcycle enthusiast. And new customers get 10% off their first purchase. Visit RevZilla.com.
Excellence isn't a goal, it's our standard. Because we only run in select circles. The winner's circle. Every battle, every climb, every sacrifice leads to domination. The pride, the legacy. Carved in iron, sealed in victory.
Welcome back to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for Stock 1000 race number 2. Looking out the window here of our broadcast booth, I can see teams starting to make their way out to pit lane. That means riders are out on the racetrack for their sighting lap. It is part of Superbikes at Road Atlanta. So much camping, so many great fans out here. They're going to get a great taste of MotoAmerica competition with the 5 different categories that are here on the property. And there is a look live at the grid. Field was already set through the 2 qualifying sessions earlier this weekend. It is the same grid that we had in race number 1, just as it is each and every MotoAmerica race weekend. And there at the back of the shot, you can see riders start to find their grid positions.
And this is really when the nerves start kicking in when you're out there on the grid, and you're going to have to sit there for a while, and so many different thoughts start going through your head. You start questioning, did we make the right changes? What about this? What happens if I get a bad start? I mean, you just think about so many different things that could go wrong. This just seems like a forever when you're sitting out there getting ready for a race.
See the number 74, Gabriel Da Silva, a great new sponsor with Euritos on board for the season, and that whole team handing out some samples. That's one of the great freebies over in the paddock area.
And a really good young talent there. You know, Nicky Hayden Horizon Award, he won that in road racing a couple years ago and had some success in Stock 1000, won a super sport race in the wet. So it's exciting to see him back on the grid this year full time.
MotoAmerica Stock 1000 coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series, and by MotoAmerica Live Plus. Stream over 100 races per season and much more. Available on mobile, PC, connected TV, Roku, or Apple TV.
We're here on the grid for the Stock 1000 Championships Race 2 here at Road Atlanta. Now 5th on the grid, Bryce Cambeau. Now Bryce, you had that early crash yesterday. Of course, you're in a different mindset today, but how will you ensure to get out safely and avoid any problems on those early turns?
Yeah, you know, I'll be honest, I'm not really exactly sure what even happened yesterday. The bike just kind of spit me off. I don't know if we were held on the grid for an extended period of time, so I don't know if the tire was a little cold or if I just made a mistake. We didn't really see anything in the data, but yeah, I'm a little bruised up. But we rode this morning and I felt okay. So I think we're in a good spot. These top 4 guys the pace is really strong, the 2 Hondas and the 2 BMWs. But I think the BPR Yamaha's got what it's going to take to try to fight up there to be on the box today.
Fantastic. Best of luck for Bryce Cambeau. Let's hope there are no early crashes and we get the full race distance today. Well, 4th on the grid is JD Beach. He's just taken a little wander on that way, but 4th on the podium as well as 4th on the grid. So let's see if JD can go one better. Let's take you over to 3rd on the grid. We've got Ashton Yates here, local man from Georgia. So Ashton, you've got your friends and family here, local man from Georgia. You did very well yesterday, but how would it feel to go even better in front of all your friends and fam?
Yeah, today just need to work on getting a better start and try to go with these BMW guys from the beginning and see if we can hold on. And yesterday just struggled with the start, but I think the lap times were there once I got going. So really that's it. We'll see what happens.
Any changes to the bike overnight?
Just some small stuff, nothing too crazy. I was pretty comfortable with the bike yesterday, and I just wanted to give another shot today with the good weather, so it's all good.
Andrew. Okay, let's take you over to number 2 on the grid, Orange Cat Racing, Jason Uribe. Jason Uribe and Andrew Lee, 2 and 1 on the grid. It's been a good weekend for Orange Cat Racing. Jason Uribe, you are on the front row, but we know that that's all you need to get right up there. We saw you right at the front yesterday, but it was a really tight race. How was your mindset? What did you learn from the course after yesterday's race?
Yesterday I realized that the race pace probably wasn't quite where it needs to be, so I think today we have a new plan. We're just going to keep being consistent, trying to pace a bit and just keep up with the Wolfpack and go from there.
Fantastic. All right, Jason Uribe, the Orange Cat Racing. Let's take you over to our pole sitter, number 1 on the grid, Andrew Lee. He got that course record yesterday. So Andrew Lee, what a day you had yesterday. Race 1 winner, pole sitter, record holder. How is the confidence right now?
It's pretty good. Yeah, you know, it's the pre-race butterflies as always, but I've got some good guys to share the grid with, Ashton and Jay and JD. Those guys are going to keep us honest here, and I trust them a lot, so it's going to be some good tight racing. So yeah, strap in. It's going to be entertaining.
It was very competitive indeed, and it all came down to the end of the race. What were your learnings about the course, and how is your mindset right now?
Yeah, I'm just going to use the information I had yesterday, and I've got some things in my mind. You know, it's going to be a little bit of a different race. We have hopefully no red flags, 12 laps, so we're going to be encountering some lappers, so we have to take that into account. But yeah, we just got to put our heads down and see what we can do again.
Fantastic. Well, Andrew Lee there, the best day of racing he's had since 2019. He is a 2-time defending champion though, so we're not putting anything past him, but he seems to be back to his best. And with Orange Cat Racing's Jason Uribe also on the front row, well, there's a lot to ride for in this championship. Let's take you over to Let's take you right back to Rocco Landers here in the third row. So, Rocco, we've got a tough race ahead. Stock 1000, first time for you in this campaign. You're on the third row. How are you feeling right now?
Fine. I mean, yesterday's race was not ideal, especially the first part. Made a few changes that ended up working, but it took a little while to get used to it, especially since this is such a new bike for me. Just hoping to get some more experience today and carry it on to the next round.
And what about the course? Learnings from the course that can help you climb up those points in this race?
Yeah, I mean, again, we made some good changes from yesterday to today as well, just like we did for yesterday's race, and getting more and more used to the bike, figuring out how to actually ride it. It's so different from anything I've really ridden in the past, and it's way different, so looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Looking forward to his first campaign in Stock 1000. Rocco has been trying out so many different categories in this MotoAmerica Championship, so we wouldn't put anything past Rocco to get better and better as this series goes on. So we've heard the buzzer, which means we are moments away from the beginning of this race to Stock 1000 Championship.
Thank you, Joe. It is great to hear from all of the competitors out there and what their mindset is as we get ready to go racing. This is a great story. You see Corey Ventura aboard the number 28 from PS2 Racing, the Aprilia. Had a tough moment during the second session of qualifying, Roger, going down. Unfortunately, that crash was big enough that it bent the frame of the bike, and this team had already made the decision and made the deal with Aprilia to get one of their show bikes at the end of this race weekend. Well, after that incident unfolded, they went ahead and brought that bike down into the paddock. Two of their crew members stayed overnight, have not been to bed yet. They pulled an all-nighter, getting all the racing bits and pieces that they could off of the old bike, putting them onto what was a demo bike, and now they sent him out this morning for the morning warm-up. He was able to complete some laps, and now he gets to go out and stay on the grid.
Yeah, that's just the reason. You know, you hear the riders always think about their team and everything they put into it. I mean, they stay up all night, and I can promise you they didn't complain and got him back out there today. And hopefully Corey can get a good race. He's been out. He's coming back from an injury. So really today, hopefully he can just kind of get his season going and get some laps under his belt.
You saw him close his eyes there and take a deep breath. You said as the riders pull up to their grid position, it's when the nerves start to set in. Now that you've been out there on the grid for a moment, do they start to shake off a little bit?
No, they go away as soon as the light goes out. But until then, I mean, it just gets a little bit worse, and you're just like, man, clock, go down, go down.
So look at the championship point standings, the same as the results from that first race yesterday, just getting things kicked off here this weekend. But 25 points for a win. Those went to Andrew Lee. It's a 5-point separation between first and second. Jason Uribe with 20 points, and then Ashton Yates with 16 points. So you can see how the points are awarded here in MotoAmerica, going to the top 15 finishers.
And that's what's so important, even if you make a mistake or go down in the race, to get back up and try to get inside that top 15, because as the year goes on, those points are going to be harder to get.
Rocco Landers now with the helmet on. You know, I want to go back to something that Jason Uribe said out there on the grid in that interview with Joe. He said that it didn't feel like the pace was what it should have been. But you think about what that pace was. Those are track record times. Jason Uribe with that 1:29.5 that he was able to put up on the time board. Sorry, 1:25.9 for Jason Uribe. If that's not fast enough, how much quicker do they go, Roger?
I was thinking the same thing when he said that. So you know what his plan is going to be. It's going to be out, put his head down, and even maybe get into the mid-25s. Going to be interesting to see. Ashton has showed really good pace all weekend. If he's going to be able to find a little bit more time and able to go with those BMWs at the front.
Ashton was right there in terms of performance, but he said it after the race yesterday, and he said it again here on the grid. You can tell he's been thinking about it a lot overnight, that it came down for him to the start. He wasn't close enough to get things going.
I think the pace caught him off guard, I think, those first couple laps. And then by the time he got going, you know, he couldn't able to recover those, you know, those seconds they lost. So today I think he's going to have a different plan. He's going to go for it from the first lap.
Also heard some traffic riders starting to think about catching up to the tail end of this field. It is a pretty stacked field here in Stock 1000. A lot of bikes out on the property, 33 grid positions awarded over the course of qualifying. How do you get through it cleanly if you're one of those front runners?
You just try to get there and be the first one there. And that's one of those things where these riders, what they're thinking about, and those things in your head when you're visualizing the race. Where do I want to pass people? Where's the good spots to pass? And Also, its place is so hard to pass. So if you can make a good move on a lapper and stick him between somebody that you're racing with, you could pull out a little bit of a gap.
See the grid being cleared of everyone except for the riders and the bikes, and of course the MotoAmerica staff that will stay out there. This will be the warm-up lap for what is a 12-lap race planned here for Stock 1000. That was one of the other things after the red flag yesterday. It was shortened down to 8 laps, so a lot more aggressive over the course of those 8 laps. And here, hopefully, we can keep things clean today and run out these full 12 laps and really get a look at what the rest of the season is going to be like.
Yeah, and especially for a guy like Ashton who lost some time early on, he's going to want all those laps today that able to recover that. But also all those laps, as they talked about, also means lappers, so it's going to throw more challenges for these guys.
All right, bikes underway. Looks like everyone was able to leave the grid. No issues there. As everyone comes around for this warm-up lap, you can see just how tight it is going into that first turn with all of the bikes out there. Take a look at the starting grid. Row number 1, our pole sitter, Andrew Lee, with Ashton Yates right between the 2 Orange Cat Racing teammates, and Jason Uribe right there in 3rd.
JD Beach, Bryce Cornwell, and Jason Waters having a good weekend.
Go back to row 3. You've got Taylor Knapp, Rocco Landers, and Isaiah Davis.
Dion Campbell, Christopher Durbin, and Joseph Giannato.
Row 5, Alex Arango in 13th, then Emmanuel Nicolas Aguilar and Gabriel De Silva, easy for me to say.
And Trevor Watson had some issues yesterday before that race. Glad to see him back on the grid today.
You see Corey Ventura there on row 7. That's the rider we were talking about, missing out on some track time, not getting into the race yesterday. Going to keep an eye on him with Philip Hart and Jordan Eubanks.
Starting on the 8th row, Jeremy Simmons.
Row 9, Andrew Bolton, Nathan Seedhaller, and Chris Elliott. These are some of the riders that they're going to have to keep their heads down, stay smart, try not to make any mistakes, as it will be a long race.
And they're going to have their own battle as well, so they're going to be battling and have to watch for those leaders and watch those blue flags.
One more row, row 11, got Mike Bishop and Gage Mullman. Rounding out our field, 32 competitors in Stock 1000. I didn't notice, Roger, did you see any open grid spots?
I didn't notice, and we'll see when they come around this lap. It looked like at least the top 4 rows, all the riders were out there.
You can see it here as they come through turn 12 and onto the front straightaway. Just what a beautiful day we have on hand here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. A lot of work being put in by the track team to make sure that all of that rain, everything from overnight, got cleaned up and racetrack was good and ready for warm-ups this morning. Looks like everyone back in their grid positions. Waiting for just a couple of bikes. All right, there's the green flag, looking out the window, waving at the tail end of the field. See the lights up in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Lights will come on, and once they go off, it will be time for racing here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, and it is go time. Race number 2 for Stock 1000.
Jason Uribe again going to try to lead into turn 1, and I can't tell who got a really good start there. Not sure if maybe they didn't jump there a little bit.
Race control will certainly take a look at it. It's like a big move there from the number 625, Christopher Durbin, who's down on row number 4.
Looks like all the front runners, good start. Jason Uribe, the 2 Hondas there, as well as they come out of turn 5. So we'll see. They had a hot pace early on. You see Jason Uribe going to try to get his head down pretty early, see what he can do. Yesterday had the outright track record and thinks he can go quicker today.
Able to get around Durbin. Andrew Lee there, the pole sitter, sitting back in 3rd, is keeping it pretty clean here on the opening lap of the 12-lap race. But now that Andrew Lee has passed Durbin, you see the number 95 there, JD Beach. See if he can get through. You mentioned how difficult it is to pass here, Roger. So far, things staying pretty clean at the front.
Yeah, and JD made a lot of ground up on the brakes there. You can see both him and Ashton a little bit earlier on in this race, a little bit more aggressive as they was yesterday's. Ashton's able now to make the move into the last corner.
JD Beach saying earlier this weekend the program came together pretty late. They're still waiting on some parts and pieces that they're looking for, and slowly as we get into the meat of the season, they'll have the bike that they're looking for, the bike that they want underneath them. It is a new program. And then you look up front, the performance out of Jason Uribe and Andrew Lee. They were able to do off-season testing. They were able to get more comfortable before the season started. So they're in a little bit of a different point developmentally than the competitors.
Yeah, and JD coming from the BMW last year to the Honda this year, just a little bit of adjustment on the riding style that he's got to get used to.
Both on Hondas. Ashton Yates there on the number 27, right on the back wheel of JD Beach. Can he make the move? He wanted to get a better start. He felt like he certainly had the pace, but he was just too far back to be able to do anything with it. He's a little bit closer here, but there's a lot more racing to go, a lot more laps, and he's going to have to conserve just a little bit, but he can't get too far behind.
Yeah, they don't want to lose the draft of the BMW. It's really strong on this back straightaway there. You see Ashton starting to close up on JD. We'll see if he can make the move on the brakes into turn 10. JD is just too good on the brakes down into there, and you can see how hard he's braking to close that gap.
You can really see how confident he is aboard that bike, something that he's been looking for the last couple of seasons, and just getting some consistency and being able to feel comfortable and feel like he can really push it. You can see that he's getting there with this Honda.
Kind of looking like yesterday's race. Jason, each one of these, and Andrew Lee, they're kind of better in different parts of each track. Jason Uribe yesterday was a lot better in this first part of the track, all the way through 2, 3, the change in directions, all the way down the hill down into turn 4. Yesterday was able to try to pull out a little bit of a gap. It looks like Andrew Lee today is a little bit better through that section than he was yesterday.
You can tell he's looked at all of the data. He's done his homework overnight, made just a couple of small changes, he said, trying to increase the pace of this race just a little bit, get a little more speed out of it. And for JD Beach, it looks like he is able to keep Ashton behind him for the time being.
JD and Ashton, though, they're slipping back a little too far, Jamie, where they're going to lose that draft to the BMWs down this long back straightaway.
Yeah, the last time at the stripe, the gap between second and third opened up to nearly a second. As they finish up this second sector and come down through the last couple of corners, we'll see what it is the next time by. But you're right, that gap is starting to open just enough. This battle for third certainly will continue on, but it's going to be about getting closer to the BMWs and trying to see if they can advance themselves any further as they come across the line. Let's see what the gap is now. It has opened up to 1.3 seconds between JD Beach and Andrew Lee, so continuing to grow.
Yeah, and it looks like the last lap, the two Honda boys are about a half a second off the pace, so they're really going to need to figure this out. As we get laps on these tires, though, on these big stock 1000s, grip, was the grip going to go away on some of these BMWs since they're pushing so hard early on into this race?
That was a question that we asked yesterday about the tire life, this being the first race weekend of the season, and increased performances from these stock 1000 bikes and new riders, and just a lot of questions on whether or not they need to conserve anything for the end of these 12-lap races, and we didn't get there with the 8-lap battle that we ended up having in the heat cycle on the tires. So we're going to learn a lot here at the closing of this race today.
And Ashton's really close to JD if he can get a good run out of turn 7. JD gets such a good drive, but Ashton is now in the draft.
Ashton is just so calm and cool as he looks to the outside. Ashton Yates now able to make the pass on JD Beach. So JD gets to sit behind Ashton. See where the two Hondas are different?
That's a great pass by Ashton. When you're in a draft like that, it is hard to get that bike slowed down where you don't blow the apex and let the rider behind you get back by. Good pass by Ashton. Now let's see if he can run down the two BMWs at the front.
And that gap continuing to open between the front two and this battle for third. Now nearly 2 seconds separating second and third. Here's another look at that pass, Roger.
Just pulled out perfectly there in the kink. Got himself right where you want to be on the inside. When you're on the inside like that going into turn 10, you own that corner. But he was able to make the pass. And the big thing here, able to keep the apex there tight.
Looking back out live at the front, Jason Uribe continuing to lead over his teammate Andrew Lee. Ashton Yates starting to open just a little bit of a gap to JD Beach, but JD's able to close right back into the back of him.
And now JD's going to be in the draft as well. He gets a really good run out of that last corner, so we'll see if he can return the favor.
He's a little further back than Ashton was.
Jason Uribe setting another really good pace, consistently down into the low 26s. Kind of like he was yesterday. He was a couple tenths quicker, but he's not making any mistakes.
No, and he can't afford to, because his teammate Andrew Lee, a past champion, riding at the top of his game again here in Stock 1000. He would be there to take advantage of any mistake that Jason Uribe made. We talked about it at the start of the race. Bike 625 of Christopher Durbin. Was it a jump start? Well, race control has deemed it just that. He has been issued a 5-second jump start penalty, so he has shuffled back in the run order.
That last lap, Ashton and JD were into the 27, so they're really starting to kind of slow down compared to the leaders, losing a second in that one lap.
Ashton unloading that bike. Pretty happy with it on Friday. He led that practice session and really strong through the qualifying sessions as well. And he's continued to say it over the course of the weekend. He didn't want to make any big changes. He was happy with the motorcycle that he had, and he's really just little small tweaks here and there just to adjust to the different conditions. But it's a little bit different for him versus some of the other competitors. A lot of them have made more big improvements, JD Beach being one of them.
Yeah, just making huge improvements, and I think for Ashton, really unloaded out of the truck on Friday really strong, and I think that's really helped him throughout this weekend. And some of the other riders like the Orange Cap boys were able to make some pretty big improvements from Friday night to Saturday.
Just completing lap 6. We are halfway through this 12-lap race number 2 here for Stock 1000. Continue to watch our race leaders, Jason Uribe, his new teammate for the season, Andrew Lee. These two just continuing to be in a league of their own. That gap over the rest of the field now growing to nearly 4 seconds. Back to the battle for third between the two Hondas. The bikes look very similar, both red and blue. These two riders certainly want to be ahead of the other one. They want to carry that Honda flag.
Exactly. They want to be the first one on the Honda, and I think for JD, this is a good weekend going back to Stock 1000, able to so far be able to get some good points, and he's going to be working hard as this race winds down to close up on Ashton.
Let's not forget that the team that JD Beach is with, the same team that Hayden Gillum is riding for and has been riding for a couple of seasons now. That team certainly has a lot of knowledge. JD being new into the mix, but he's always been around it, being so close with Hayden and being comfortable around that organization. So they're going to go through this growing process quickly.
It really looks like Andrew's just kind of hanging on, waiting until the end of this race and not really slow each other up, going back and forth and see what he can do. There's only 5 laps left. Does he have the pace to go by and think he can pull away, or is he just sitting there?
When they don't have any pressure from any other teams, they're able to execute the plan. This is the end of the race yesterday on the left-hand side of your screen. Very similar, the two riders staying together through the opening stages of this race, bringing it right down to the end where they continue to fight for it in a drag race to the checkered flag, ultimately with Andrew Lee having the advantage. Ashton Yates, you see there, able to finish on the 3rd step of the podium.
So yesterday's race being as short as kind of the distance that we're at right now. So now we're going to start getting into a little bit of that unknown. Now they're going to start getting 8-9 laps on these tires. As you see, Jason Uribe actually pulls out a little bit in that second sector this time.
5 laps remaining here in the second race for Stock 1000. Best lap so far, 1:26.2 from Jason Uribe. coming into the race weekend. That would have been a new race lap record. However, yesterday's pace, we were so surprised by how quick those riders were able to go up front. Not quite there yet today, but it is a longer race, so they can't attack it as aggressively at the beginning if they're going to save that tire for the end.
This is the biggest gap I think we've seen out of Jason, half a second across the stripe the last time around, and even looks like through this first part of the track he's pulled out a couple more tenths as well. 3 tenths quicker in that first sector, so Jason is just same as yesterday, just so strong through there.
You saw that gap progression at the bottom of the screen though between Andrew Lee in second place and Ashton Yates in third, and how over the course of the last 5 laps it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And what this really says, I mean, you look back to 5th place of Jason Waters, 12 seconds behind the leaders right now. And for the rest of the field for Stock 1000, there's some work to do as we get into the rest of this championship season and trying to get closer to the top 4.
And these 4 have set just an incredible pace all weekend, and even in both races from start to finish, they've really put a lot of pressure on the rest of the competitors.
This is the battle for 5th right now that we were talking about. The number 92, that's Jason Waters, and the number 17, Bryce Cornbow. We heard from him out on the grid following that incident yesterday, that scary accident for him. He's still a little unsure of what happened, but it's great to see him able to get back out there, the team able to get that bike back into race shape, and it still looks good. I love the colors, everything that team is doing over in the paddock for this 2025 season, but for him to be able to just brush that off and get back out there says a lot about him as a competitor.
Yeah, before the race he mentioned how sore he was, and this track, all the riders have talked about how physical it is all weekend. It's not one of those easy tracks when you come in injured like Bryce is today, but he's doing a good job there hanging inside the top 6 and getting some points even not feeling great.
Got Jason Waters also on a BMW, Bryce Cornbow on the Yamaha. Good mix of manufacturer involvement here in Stock 1000 as we go back up front to Jason Uribe. Here's a replay of just a moment ago.
Trying to get the power down. You can see that rear wheel using all the track. Ran out of curbing there and threw some rocks back at Andrew. You could see he's seeing the rocks coming and turning his head a little bit.
Having those rocks out on the racing surface, Roger, as everyone else comes through 12, what will it do?
Well, one thing it could do to Andrew Lee is put a hole in his radiator. So that's one thing he has to worry about. But for the most part, where it was, these riders are straight up and down, so it won't be a big issue.
3 laps to go. The gap now between Jason Uribe and Andrew Lee, just under 4 tenths of a second. You can see it there on the screen. That's what it looks like. But the two of them just staying as close as they need to right now. This is right about the point in the race where it started to get a little more heated yesterday. 2 laps ago, it seemed like the gloves started to come off a little bit.
Andrew did a good job that last lap, able to bring back a couple tenths. I thought Jason was pulling away, but Andrew just won't give up.
The two of them being teammates going in and knowing what the strategy is for the other. Roger, they talk about how well they work together. Having this plan pan out for them, not having to deal with any pressure from anyone else. That's the unknown. They can't control anybody else going into the race, but they've been able to execute.
And they've worked well together all weekend, and I think for the team, you know, just such an advantage for the team, and having 2 riders as fast as they are, they're just going to elevate each other. Yeah, they're teammates and they want to get along, but there's nobody you want to beat more than your teammate.
Saw that gap back to 3rd place of Ashton Yates, and what you don't see behind him anymore is the pressure from JD Beach aboard that number 95, and Ashton's been able to open it up just a little bit. Coming through, get the white flag, the final lap here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta for our race leaders. Jason Uribe now with a sizable margin over Andrew Lee, nearly a second.
Yeah, if Jason just keeps this clean, it's going to be hard for Andrew to be able to chase him down by a second. Even now, looking at the screen, it's even more than a second. But the thing is, Jason doesn't know that. He's still out there pushing, thinking Andrew Lee is right there behind him.
Another thing that hasn't developed as early as what we were expecting is the lap traffic. This being the final lap of the race. Still not having to deal with any of the other motorcycles that are out there. Clean sailing right in front of Jason Uribe. And there is the first bike that he will potentially encounter here on this final lap. For Jason Uribe, he was able to get to the front early on, put his head down, go through his motions, and you said it early, hasn't made a single mistake.
Just his race pace, the consistency for Jason's been awesome today.
Jason Uribe to the stripe, taking home the checkered flag, his first race victory of the 2025 Stock 1000 championship season. His teammate Andrew Lee able to finish in second. Ashton Yates with no pressure from behind, rounding out our top three in our podium. JD Beach able to get a solid finish there in fourth. Great result in the top 5 for Bryce Kornbau after that incident yesterday. Able to put the helmet back on and go out there and do the job that he needed to do. Big congratulations from all the corner workers. Great camaraderie in the MotoAmerica family out here. Saw the two teammates also shake hands and congratulate one another after taking that checkered flag. A great race win for Jason Uribe.
It's got to feel good after leading so many laps yesterday and then getting pipped right there at the end, and did the same thing he did. He just kept the pace. You see it right here on the left side of your screen. Lap 1, a 26.2, stayed into there all the way till lap 10, really, and then even on lap 11, a low 27. It was just the pace that nobody else could hang with.
Extremely consistent. Jason has said it a couple of times. He's not here just for race wins and podiums this season. He's here for a championship title. They're going to put all of it on the line and see if they can grab just that. The work was done in the offseason. They proved that when they showed up here this weekend for round number 1 of the championship, just ready to go. Saw Rocco Landers come through. He had a top 10 finish, able to finish in 9th.
MotoAmerica Stock 1000 coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by MotoAmerica Live Plus. Stream over 100 races per season and much more. Available on mobile, PC, connected TV, Roku, or Apple TV.
Jason Uribe still on this cool down lap, looking at timing and scoring. Roger, I'm looking at the speed also from Jason Uribe. 178 miles per hour at the speed trap going into turn 9. Just incredible what these riders are able to do.
Yeah, just incredible. And it's that run out of turn 7 for him where he was really strong. As we go back to the highlights here, and you can see on the 4th row there, Christopher Durbin actually jumps the start, goes way too early. All the other riders are going to have to work their way past him. He's going to end up getting a 5-second penalty to his overall race time. And you see Jason Uribe making a move, and now his teammate Andrew Lee makes the move, and then JD Beach and Ashton Yates also to follow. And from there, Jason got out front, his teammate there right behind him. Then the two Honda boys, JD Beach and Ashton Yates, had their own little battle going down. Ashton did a really good move there in the draft when the brakes down into turn 10. Jason Uribe threw a little couple rocks at his teammate there coming out of the last corner, and Andrew Lee just stayed close the whole race. But Jason Uribe never made a mistake with that pressure and able to get that win today.
Had his head down with a goal he wanted to accomplish, and you can see the relief as he sets up on the bike, able to do just that, making his way down to the podium area where we'll hear from him in just a moment, and he'll get to collect some more hardware.
Good boy.
Great team effort as well. All of the crew members, you can see taking a good look at the bikes, all the hard work being put in to get them race ready and finish 1-2 in both races this weekend. You see there, Jason Uribe is our race winner, our top 3, of course, but then JD Beach finishing in 4th and Bryce Kornbau inside of the top 5.
Then Jason Waters, Isaiah Davis, Taylor Knapp, good to see him back out today. Rocco Landers and Christopher Durbin, even with that 5-second penalty, he gets a top 10.
It's going to be a great championship season in Stock 1000. Several of these riders will also be taking part in Superbike Cup. We'll see them out on the Superbike grid later on this afternoon as well. So an abundance of track time for some of these riders. We saw the top 3 getting ready over the podium area. Things are now set. Let's send it over to Joe.
Jason Uribe, congratulations, our race 2 winner. It was a similar strategy to yesterday, but how good did it feel to cross that finish line without a battle at the end?
Honestly, I just can't thank my whole team, my whole crew enough. My family is out here. I got this beautiful BMW provided by Alpha Racing. Orange Cat supported everything. Thanks everybody for all the help. And honestly, I was just trying to ride my own race. I was trying to look at my lap timer and just be smooth, be consistent. I knew I was going to have at least somebody behind me, so I just tried to minimize mistakes and honestly just ride smart and just happy to bring it home.
Was it learnings from the race course? What made the difference for you today?
I would say adapting to change. I think we made some setup stuff that was a great idea in theory but didn't quite work out in practicality, so I was kind of learning on the fly and just happy to be here.
Congratulations, Jason. Let's take it over to Orange Cat Racing's Andrew Lee, who's had a fantastic race weekend, number 2 today, but it must be a very happy moment for you. You're very satisfied with that result? How did you find the race?
Yeah, you know, I'm satisfied. I just didn't have a lot of trust in the front end this race, so Jason really put the pressure on me. I was trying to equal it. But my teammate just rode so good. So, I mean, the Orange Cat team really put bikes underneath us that can win a championship, so now it's up to us. Yeah, I just want to thank the whole team. It was really cool to be able to race alongside this guy. I've been doing it since we were kids, so.
A long-term friendship as well. 1 apiece for Orange Cat Racing, so it's going to be a really interesting championship. What does that mean for you and for the team?
Yeah, it means that it's going to be a long, stressful season for the team. Expect people to have some gray hair by the end of it. I made a joke before the season that going into the last round, it's going to be tight. And, I mean, we're tied in going into round 2. So, yeah, it's going to be intense.
Congratulations, Andrew Lee. Let's take it over to number 3 on the podium, Ashton Yates. The man from Georgia, 3rd yesterday, 3rd today. Are you happy with that result?
Yeah, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. I'd like to be up there in the front. I know I can be there, but I'll be honest, I was riding as hard as I could there those last few laps just to see if I could make a charge. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with this weekend and a great way to start the season. And I can't thank my team, Jones Honda, all my family and friends that are out here this weekend. American Honda, Speedy, HJC, Honda Pro Oils, Progressive, and everyone that's put this thing together for me. It's a great way to start the season.
Well, you get to be on the podium twice in front of your friends and family. Congratulations, Ashton Yates.
Taking the photos, the team photos there, great weekend for them. But Roger, a couple things sticking out to me from what those riders had to say. Jason Uribe said the changes that they make didn't quite pan out the way that they would have liked, but the pace and the consistency that he was still able to get out of it.
Yeah, and just able to adapt, like he said there. And, you know, things aren't always going to be right as a rider, and sometimes you have to get out there and make some changes yourself.
See the championship point standings, and they called it a win and a second place for each of them, now tied going into round number 2. Ashton Yates able to enjoy 2 podium results that puts him sitting in 3rd, and then JD Beach being able to gather up some points today, sitting in 4th. As the hardware is handed out over at the podium for Stock 1000, we are going to step away, take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. Roland Sands Design, built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com. And by Harley-Davidson and the championship-winning Pan America.